Good morning, dear colleagues. I'm very thankful for the invitation to this conference and for your interest to this problem. And because I have only 20 minutes, so let me tell you about the main, to my mind, the main aspects of the religious education in the modern world. Okay, first of all, I would like to say that the idea of that book, the Handbook of Religious Education in the Modern World, was born 2 years ago, and in Washington, D.C., and I'm very glad to see here my wonderful colleagues, Mikhaila Moravchikova and Kanak Bikman from Nepal, Michael from Slovakia, and of course Cole Durham. They have supported me, that idea, and I'm very thankful because you were the basic for this book. And of course Derek Davis, because without him, without his great editorial job, this book cannot be published and cannot be here with us, and thank you very much. Okay, the idea of this book was to inform about the different models of religious education, because the knowledge about the international experience in this area is very important for every nation, I think, because the rule of religion in the modern world is increasing because of the phenomenon of religion and because of the crisis of morality in the modern time. So the main question is what to teach about: to teach on religion and to teach about religion. No, you know that there are Toledo guidelines 2007. And the main issues of this, the answer of this question is written there: to teach about religion, okay? How to do it? In the modern world, there are two main models of religious education. Okay, I'm speaking about the religious education in public schools. Yeah, I think this is understandable, okay? This is the main topic. Because religious education is a model itself of public status of religion in the modern world. That's why that is a very important issue. Okay, the first model is the confessional model, to teach about one concrete religious tradition with division of the class into different groups. No, for example, in Germany, into Catholics and to evangelic groups of children. And the non-confessional models, it means to teach about different religions and non-religious Weltanschauung also. No, for example, in Great Britain, the situation, or in Norway, or in Russian, by the way, today, okay. And there are three main models of the state policy, how to teach religious instruction in the public schools. First of all, there are states, there are nations, there are countries which allow the confessional model, so which allow to teach on religion. So, for example, I have said already the Germany. There are countries which don't allow to teach even about religion, for example, United States or Japan or China. And there are countries which allow to teach, to teach about religion, okay, so, for example, Russia. So what is the main result of this structure, so to say? Of course, all these models, we scholars, we know some models, but the life is much brighter. Of course, all these models, to my mind, we should perceive as the ideal types of, from Max Weber said about it. And each country has a right, to my mind, of course, has a right and has to be brave to realize the concrete model of religious education, because it's very connected. Yes, the colleagues have said about it already. It's very connected with the social, political, and cultural basics of several countries. That's true. What to do in this case? How to teach, how to realize this very, very special and very different and very complicated issue? To my mind, the basic for the real, good religious education should be freedom of conscience. I would like to note, not freedom of religion, but freedom of conscience. To my mind, freedom of religion is a part of freedom of conscience. And to my mind, freedom of conscience is, first of all, is increasing from moral, psychological phenomenon to the world Anschauung's choice. And so it includes as religious, also non-religious, humanistical views. And to my mind, the religious education will be much better and will be much effective in the results if it will be based on freedom of conscience. So what about the Russian situation? It's very complicated, is usually, by the way, okay? Because the history of my country is so different. But we are alive, nevertheless. And you understand that after many centuries of state religion, as was the Russian Orthodoxy, then the period of militant atheism, and now the situation with freedom of religions. What we have with religious education in time. 2010, we got the order of President of Russian Federation about the approbation course in public schools in 21 regions of Russia, like an experiment of religious education. What it was? So it was the idea to mix the confessional and non-confessional model in one course. And for the parents had to choose for their children from 6 variants in this course. Okay, four variants. These are the cultures of the religions. First of all, the basic of Orthodox culture, the basics of Islam culture, the basics of Buddhism culture, and the basics of Judaism culture. Please note, it's the Russian language is very deep, is very bright, is very dark. Not about Orthodoxy as a religion, about religious culture. Okay, that is very important. Okay, and 2 subjects from just from non-confessional model. It is the basics of the world religions, cultures, and the secular ethics. So 2 years, after 2 years, the results were following. Most of all, the parents have chosen the basic of secular ethics. And together with the basics of world religions, it was about 60% of parents who have chosen these non-confessional subjects, instructions. Then what about Russian Orthodoxy? That was about 30%. About Islam, 4%, and Judaism and Buddhism about 1%. So now, without bright discussions of the results of this approbation, we had from the 1st September 2012, from the very beginning of the study year, in every subject of Russia Federation, we have a compulsory, obligatory course, obligatory instruction in these six, so to say, six courses together under the title the moral education, so the religious moral education. Okay. And this is obligatory, I said, and the parents have a choice for their children, okay. The results are the same, by the way. Again, more than 60% for non-confessional subjects, and first of all for basic of secular ethics, and then the same results for the religious instructions. Very difficult question is who is teaching these courses. To my mind, this is a very problem because it was in a very hurry to prepare the teachers in this very difficult and important course. And what about the textbooks? The textbooks, they have been prepared also in a very hurry, and there are a lots of criticism to the content of these books. Nevertheless, the students of about 10 years old children, they are studying this instruction. No, for example, my granddaughter, she lives in Moscow and just got this course in the 4th class. I asked her, please tell me, what are you teaching about? What are you listening about? She answers to me, we are learning to be patriots. Because the main idea of the course from the beginning is to be patriots of the motherland. It's okay, not bad. We will see what will be further. Okay, I'll tell you then. So I have 5 minutes. Please let me tell just to the respect audience that my ideas, my thoughts about the experience in this area. To my mind, there are some problems, contradictions to my mind. Okay, in the format of this religious education results, I see, first of all, one even negative tendency to my mind. Negative tendency toward the freedom of conscience, what I'm thinking about. We don't know the golden middle, you know. So sometimes we have, in former time we've been the atheist, we were atheists. Now the people are very religious. Is it true? Is it okay? What is it? God knows. But the sociological results shows us that, for example, about 70% of Russian population says that we are religious people, but only 50% of these people said that they believe in God. What is the quality of these religions? Okay, and then the idea that only religion could be... Does it mean 2 minutes or 3? Oh, so great. Does it mean... Then 5 times. You just should have 5 times. Okay. Does it mean that only religion can be the basic to educate good moral person? I'm not so... I have doubts because, to my mind, not only religion, humanism, it's a good basic for this also. So there is a tendency to humiliate it, so to say, the secular values, the humanism values. I don't think that is a good deal for the future. I think it's a dangerous to get, I don't know how it will be in English, пирова победа. Pirova. No, victory, it's second. Pirova Победа, do you understand it, okay? We can get some good results in these days, in these some months and years. What will be in the future? We have to think forward, not about only these days. Okay, and another moment. Okay, every nation, of course, is thinking about its own culture. That's great, and this is, of course, every country has the traditions. But the thing is that the modern world has been changed, and globalization works here in this world, and we have to advocate the human rights of minorities. And who knows how we'll be with this world in 50 years after that. Who will be the majority and who will be the minority? And be respectful to the traditions, of course, and for Russia, of course, the Russian Orthodox Church. Sure, we have to respect the human rights of all citizens. And that's why, to my mind, I think that religious education in public school should be in cultural area about basic of world religions, and not for children of 10 years old. It should be, to my mind, about maybe 15 or 13 years old, just to allow the people to know about it. And to the secular teachers, okay, apostolat Mirian, that's in Catholicism through the Vatican II, it's okay, but because the world and the society is so different, to my mind, we don't allow to divide the society, the class, into the smaller groups, and to make religion as a basic to division. No, okay. My last sentence is this religious education shows us that we have to educate ourselves in culture of freedom. This is my view. Thank you very much.